Hi guys, I am back. I'm sorry I was silent for a few days there. We had some commotions in the community, different things happening. So my mornings got kind of busy. We had one gentleman who works helping us with the house renovations. He had a stroke a couple of days ago. We had some other things happen, and it just kind of makes you wonder about a lot of things. And I know I've commented on the things related to the business and to life insurance and insurability that it can switch very quickly, right? If you have COVID, you're no longer insurable until you're fully healed, so you can't get life insurance when you most need it. Same goes for strokes and heart attacks if something happens to you. But in you can no longer get life insurance at least for 10 years. Again, that's when your family most needs it. So it's really important to make sure that we take care of physical, material aspects of our well-being while everything is okay. But then in our classes and our team calls in the mornings, we're actually studying a really cool author, and I wanted to make sure that I come on and share about her. We found Dr. Jean Houston thanks to my mom's recommendation. My mom, Svetlana Vinnik, she's amazing, kind of self-improvement maniac, I'd say, or very passionate about personal growth and self-improvement. And she's been really advocating for Jean Houston's program, Feminine Power. And so I picked Jean Houston as one of the authors for our team to study for business. But Jean Houston is really interesting because she's really more of a holistic approach, total human soul and body evolution. And she says, or looks at the life as, or at us as being spiritual being, having a human experience, which I happen to agree with wholeheartedly, because in the Baha'i faith we believe that the earthly life is really just our first stage before the our infinite worlds of God, where our soul progresses after passing. So if we are spiritual beings having a human experience, what's really the purpose of life, right? Is that to live a fulfilling life physically? Like, do you want to accomplish more, to gain more, to have more? I mean, how pretty can you get? You'll still get, no matter how pretty, how athletic, how strong, how accomplished you get physically, it still fades with time, right? As we get older, nobody can escape it. Same with material means. No matter how much we've accumulated, does it really contribute to anything long term? If we are gone, nothing's left behind. So the idea is we gotta work on some things that we don't leave behind, that don't lose their relevance. And what are they? And the quotation or the example I had in mind is like, if you imagine two babies in the womb and they're talking to each other and they're saying, hey, do you think there is life after the birth? Is there life after the womb, right? Because when you're in the womb, you have no context that there is this whole entire life happening parallel to yours until you exit. So it's the same with the soul. When we are wondering, is there a life of the soul after death? It actually already exists parallel to us, but until we're in this physical body, we can't see it. And so what do we take with us into that next world? Well, it's basically what we've developed in this that belongs to the soul and the spirit, which is our virtues, our divine qualities, our connection with the divine and with God, which can only be attained through service and connection with others. And so really, the more we do for others, the more we serve, the more we give, the more we develop these characteristics of detachment, of love, of giving, the more fulfilled I think we become, and the more we take with us. So that's kind of the idea. But I really highly recommend to listen to Jean Houston, because first of all, she's extremely eloquent. She uses some absolutely beautiful vocabulary in describing a lot of things. She talks about such things as crossing the bridge of otherness and really connecting with others and serving. And that's really great, in terms of just visualizing it. her description of the soul and what it is, and it's a lure of our becoming and things like this. Yeah, sometimes it's hard for me to even say that, but then there's some other things that she said that were really cool words for my vocabulary. She talked about stick to itness, which is really a cool word. I'm adding it to the language, but I think many of us don't stick to anything because we can't focus. We don't see the purpose or the vision of the things that we do. So having that quality of stick to itness is important. Like my son, he's taking a bus to school and he doesn't like it. It takes a long time. He's not really socializing on the bus. He's like, he just wants me to drive him and drive him back because it's much faster and he doesn't have to, to deal with other kids. And so if I indulge him, that's basically helping him not to develop stick to itness, right? So he quits if something is uncomfortable. He quits. We don't want our children to be raised like this. We don't want to be people like this. So the idea is that we grow outside of the comfort zone. So what I had the conversation with him about is that it takes about 90 days to see if something works or something doesn't work. So we are going to ride the bus for 90 days to see if he is going to adjust, if he's going to make some friends, if he's going to develop some new habits. And then if in 90 days time, it still doesn't work for him, then we can reevaluate. But we don't reevaluate something before we've given it our all, before we've given it a real try. And I see that a lot with the people that try to join our business and they try today and they quit next week because they are uncomfortable adjusting their schedule or something like this. It doesn't work like this. We first have to stick to it before we see if it works or not. So give it the time, and try and our best to determine whether something works or not is important. So there is a lot of other things that she talks about. She talks about Jean Houston. She talks about being in a state of chronic education, constantly learning. And in my case, I think it's at this point it's an addiction to chronic education. I have to be learning every day. If I don't, I feel empty. I feel like I haven't grown today, and it sucks, right? I'm very curious. I've developed this sense of curiosity. Oh, what am I going to learn about today? Whether that be through the spiritual devotions and writings and quotes and books that I read to inspire my heart and soul every morning, or whether that be through the business trainings that we are going through on a daily basis and a weekly basis. So if you're growing on a daily basis, it's a really fun life to have, because you're always in this sense of discovery and awe, because the world is really awe-inspiring. So, and we as human beings, we have this immense capacity for learning this spiritual or intellectual or just like about the world that's not even physical, but about all the other aspects of it. But if we are not plugging into that capacity, if we're not developing that capacity, we don't even scratch the surface. We are living such a tiny part of our potential because we don't invest into developing it. So I highly recommend to grow and learn. I have a lot of fun doing it. I'm excited that we are families that has a culture that does that. So we do it with Mojan, we study, we discuss, we review, we share. And it's a great way to build relationships. It's a great way to build marriage. It also gives a great conversations with kids, right? So I talk about the things I learn with my daughters and with my son. So they're constantly tapping into their own potential as well as they're going through this very challenging stage of, preteen and teen years. So it's a great way to work towards our mission, as to think what can we develop that can stay relevant even through aging, even through losing our athleticism or beauty or health, or what would still be relevant. People that remember us, lives that we changed, people that we've impacted, communities that we served. So think of this, think of what your true mission is. I hope that helps. I just wanted to share with you about Jean Houston. I really recommend checking her out. She is amazing. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great day.